Hello, George Krumm here. Welcome to the third annual Think Outside Virtual Outdoor Show. In this seminar, we're going to talk about the Alberto Knot. It's used to join a section of monofilament or fluorocarbon to braid. Many of you use mono top shots. I do when I downrigger fish, and I'll typically use the Alberto Knot to join the two sections, the braid to the monofilament or fluorocarbon. The beauty of the Alberto Knot is it's proven strong. I've been using it for several years and never had it fail. And second, it's easy to tie compared to some of the other braid to fluorocarbon or braid to monofilament knots. I'll demonstrate first using heavy cord. So this section over here, the white section, is your monofilament or fluorocarbon. Notice that I've doubled over a length of it. This section here is your braid. Imagine it's 65-pound braid or 50-pound braid or whatever you use. To tie the knot, I take the doubled over section, I stick the braid through it, I pull out a good length of it, and then I begin taking the braid around the two legs of monofilament or fluorocarbon. I typically like to go around it 7 times. 3, 4, I space these out. 5, 6, 7, and then when I'm tying this knot for real, or even in this demonstration, I go back down the other way and I basically cross over the wraps that I've already made. 2, try to keep them in line. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then simply go back through the loop. Same direction as it went in, that's the direction it should come out. Then we simply start pulling the knot, and when you do this for real with your small diameter braid and fluorocarbon, you can moisten this with saliva and it'll help tighten this knot. But slowly but surely, as you pull on it, and it'll take some force, the knot will eventually begin to shrink down. Here's how you tie the knot in real time with a real type of material that we usually use. We're going to join 17-pound Seagar STS fluorocarbon to 65-pound J-braid X8. And I've chosen to use the J-braid colored stuff, hoping that it might be a little bit easier to see. I mentioned earlier that what we're going to do is take our top shot, which is either our mono or fluorocarbon, and we're going to double it over like so. I like to actually pinch it a little bit to give it a little bit of shape. Then I take my J-braid and I'm going to thread it up through that loop, and I'm going to hold on to that. I'm going to pull out some excess, and notice that we've got a long length of line here that's overlapped. It's not that we need that much to tie the knot, but it makes it easier to tighten it in a minute. So while this is like this, all we're going to do is take the braid 1, 2, 3, 4. I know it's looking kind of messy here because 5, 6, 7. Okay, I've gone up the braid 7 times. Now I'm going to hold on to that. I'm going to switch hands, and I'm going to go back down the braid 7 times this way and then thread it through that loop. 1, 2, 3. While I'm doing this, I'm trying to match the same wraps that I did previously. 4, 5. But the beauty of the Alberto Knot is it doesn't have to be perfect. As long as you're fairly close, it's going to work. 7, you want the line going out the same side of the loop as it went in. So if you look closely, you can see they're both going out the same way. Notice my tag end's about that long. That allows me to wrap it around my finger. I can do the same thing over here so I can get a hold of it, and that's going to allow me to tighten it good. Well, this knot, you have to pull pretty hard to get it tight, but you'll see it slims down to almost nothing. There's the knot is essentially done now. All we have to do is trim off the tag ends. I usually leave my braid tag end a little bit long because it tends not to catch in the guides at all because it's like a noodle. The monofilament tag end, though, I cut very close because I don't want that hanging up. If I wind this knot into the guides and a fish takes off, I want that to go back out the guides very easily. So I tend to cut my tag end of the mono pretty short. You don't need to super glue this or anything like that. It's a strong knot as is. You can see I pulled it the rest of the way tight just now, and it takes considerable force to do that. You can see how I've got it wrapped around my hands. But this is a great knot to use for joining a mono to braid. It's not the strongest mono to braid knot out there, but I've never had one fail, and I've caught a lot of fish using this knot.